Brothers and sisters, how's it going? This is the In My Grow Show, the podcast dedicated to taking the mystery out of cannabis. I'm Alex Robles. So I hope everyone's having a beautiful day. I hope everyone's garden's looking the way you want them to look. It's around the second week of February, so it's winter in a lot of places. Thank you for taking the time and hanging out with me again. Again, I want to give a special thanks to DJ Monster Drop for helping me out. And a special thank you to bensound.com for letting me use their music. So, today I want to talk about what I've got going on in my grow space. Let's see. Oh, an extra light. Okay, so back in September last year, I bought this 45 watt LED light from Amazon. It was like $27, one of the little Amazon specials. The Rolidro Panel Grow Light. I think I pronounced that right. It's one of those red and blue lights. I bought it to check it out. I needed to add more light in this small little grow cabinet, about 2 foot square, maybe. A little less than 2 feet square. So I needed to add more light, so I figured, well, I'd give it a try. It's a small space and relatively cheap. So what I discovered was that it wasn't the light for my situation. The wrong choice, because it didn't really help my plants. Plants didn't really thrive under it. You know, I had to add a couple of more bulbs. I had to put more bulbs, a couple more bulbs that I had laying around. I had to add them in there. Also LED bulbs. Like I said, I don't think it was the right bulb for the right light for my situation, because it's a small space that had about 5 plants and veg. They were each about 1.5 feet tall maybe, and they just kind of stunted. They just kind of hovered at that. They wouldn't really thrive really quickly. So as soon as I threw more light in there, they just did what they were supposed to do, totally took off. So like I said, maybe I was asking too much from the light. 5 plants and veg. Could be. But yeah, if I was only doing 1 plant, maybe. I wasn't too impressed by it. So I would say keep your $27. Save it up and buy a better light. Alright, now what else? Alright, so now let's get a report from the cannabis front line. I want to talk about a couple of states. One is Vermont, one is Texas. Ooh. Okay, so Vermont on January 22nd became the first state to legalize cannabis through legislature, which means the state government voted it in. It wasn't the people who voted it in. That makes a difference. Okay, but a couple of limitations here, okay? So the Vermont law reads, it only allows adults 21 and older to possess up to an ounce of cannabis and grow up to 2 mature plants and 4 immature plants. Okay, now, this is because Vermont does not allow sale of cannabis. Okay, so selling is still illegal. So now I wonder, could I give someone cannabis in Vermont? Another adult over 21? Give them up to an ounce? I don't know. So there you go. So this is because Vermont does not allow the sale of cannabis. You can grow 2 plants to maturity, harvest, bam. But you can't sell it because that's illegal. Well, baby steps, I guess. Like I said, change takes time, and it doesn't always take the form that we imagine it to take. Sometimes it comes about in a really weird way. So Texas also has a medical cannabis law. It's called the Compassionate Use Act. And it only allows for cannabis oil. Okay, you can't buy flour, you can't get edibles. Nope, it's just oil. Okay, now, the Compassionate Use Act specifies just one qualifying condition. Alright, patients have to have intractable epilepsy. in order to get medical marijuana or medical cannabis. Or in Texas, medical cannabis oil, because that's the only kind you can get in Texas. Okay, if patients want to add more conditions to this list that you can get cannabis oil for, it's going to take a legislative action. Alright, now the bill specifies that dispensaries can only sell low THC cannabis. Low THC cannabis is defined in Texas as a product that contains 0.5% by weight of THC. The law also sets limits on cannabidiol, CBD. Okay, products can't contain more than 10% by weight of CBD. Wow, check that out. So when I read stuff like this, it makes me wonder, do they write these laws really to help patients? Or is it the kind of law that they set up to fail? Because some patients' conditions, from how I understand certain medical conditions, and I'm no doctor, okay, but some patient conditions, you need a higher concentration to really get the effectiveness of it. I mean, that's what it seems like. When I read something like this, it seems like they're setting it up to fail, to say, look, we tried it and no one got better. I mean, what do you think? Send me an email, inmygrow@gmail.com, or find me on Instagram and, have this conversation. But that's crazy, though. Okay, so only Texans that have this intractable epilepsy can get the cannabis oil. And Texas prohibits patients from cultivating, growing plants at home, and smoking cannabis is also excluded from the state's definition of medical use. Aha. Well, once again, at least they're, baby steps. But if it were me and my family and I had a way to, I'd move out of Texas to get my family member the help they needed in a more open way. What do you think? That's what I think. Alright folks, I'm going to take a short break and I'll be back. Hang tight.
When you preach about it, everyone that's up, gotta put the bullet. You don't have no gun, just a buck for passion. Got no thoughts of your own. Just a buck for fashion. Got no thoughts of your own. But the net I kiss after all day protest, nothing can ever change when you're just like the rest. Just a buck for fashion. Got no thoughts of your own. Just a buck for fashion. Got no thoughts of your own.
Brothers and sisters, I'm back, and I want to talk about a couple of products I saw this week. First, I want to talk about this thing. So I went into Rite Aid a couple of days ago. Rite Aid is like a Walgreens or a Thrifty's. It's just a drugstore, a big chain drugstore out here in California. And right up front as you walk in, there's this display for a product called Be True. Now, they don't pay me to say this. It just tripped me out because it's this whole line. Let's see, they've got like a body cream, like a pain relief cream, a daily gummy chew, and a sublingual spray from the looks of the literature, from what I read. Now, what I found interesting is that in their pamphlet, it says here that they have, they have their own proprietary hemp extract derived from the stalks of organic male hemp, specifically formulated to provide optimal absorption through all dermis layers. Okay, so that's for the cream, right? It surprised me because, one, it's a hemp product being sold like openly at this big chain drugstore. In the literature, it says, organic hemp. It sounds like they're using CBD for their products, which is great. I mean, this is what normalization looks like, I guess. It was just surprising, man. It was a trip to see. I have my own issues, or I should say my own questions, not issues, just my own questions about what sounds like CBD derived from hemp. I'd rather get my CBD from the drug form of cannabis. Seems to be more effective, that's all. In my own opinion, in my own unscientific opinion. Once again, not a doctor. So yeah, I thought that was real interesting. I don't think I'm going to try it. But like I said, this is what normalization looks like, apparently. I mean, good on them. Let me know what you think. Send me an email, find me on Instagram. I don't know how many other products are out there that are doing a similar thing in these big chains, especially out here in California. It just seems, if these products are out here in the drugstores in California, since these are big chains of pharmacies, are they in prohibition states? Yeah, let me know. If you live in a prohibition state and you spot a product like this, let me know. I'm interested to know. Alright, I'm going to take another short break because I need a drink of water. I'm going to be right back. Alright, so I want to talk a little bit more about seedlings. Alright, so last time we talked about seedlings. You got your seedlings, they're in your dirt, they're coming up. The first couple of cotyledon leaves, those first round leaves, the very first seedling leaves, they look nothing like a cannabis leaf. Those come up, alright, cool, man. So a few days later, you're going to get your first set of cannabis leaves. They have the typical serrated edges to it. They're going to be very obvious cannabis leaves. Once you get those leaves, those first set of leaves, your seedling's going. Okay, now your seedling stage is going to last about 3 to 6 weeks. It's going to depend on the strain, but you just got to keep an eye on it. But it's typically about 3 to 6 weeks. Alright, and during the time and while, in the seedling stage, your seedling has started to build that root system that it needs to absorb the nutrients it's going to need from the soil. Okay, try not to overwater it, alright, because you're going to drown it. You're going to kill it if you overwater it. Don't let it get too dry also. Alright, you don't want to kill it that way either. Just keep it moist. Alright, not too moist to where it's sloshy. You want to let the first about inch dry up from the top. Okay, and then water again. Alright, so I don't feed my seedlings any nutrients. That's why I start off with a nice, good soil mix. If you go to inmygrow.com and type in soil in the search bar, a couple of articles will come up that describe how I choose a soil. So I get a nice soil mix that's going to have all the nutrients it's going to need, something that's not going to be too heavy, too hot. It's going to be a nice mix. I used a bag soil that I get out here called Recipe 420. I believe E.B. Stone makes it. But that seems to be a good mix. I don't need to, it's already packed with all the nutrients that seedling is going to need, so I don't have to worry about trying to feed it something. Because the root systems are real delicate. It's really easy to burn them, to give them too much and it gets too hot and it just burns them and they die. So yeah, I just let them go for for about maybe 3 to 4 weeks. By then the root system is strong enough to take a little bit of nutrients, light nutrients also, by about week 4. So lights, I keep my seedlings under fluorescent lights. I keep them under a couple of 2-foot T5s. And those lights are about a foot and a half away, 12 to 18 inches away. And they seem to do pretty good under there, the seedlings. If I use LEDs, the LEDs, same kind of thing. I'll keep them about a foot away. Keep the lights about 12 inches away. Now, if you're using HID, I don't typically use HID. I haven't used HID in a long time, and that's for a lot of different reasons. But if you're using HIDs, I'd keep them like 4 feet away, 5 feet away. Now, for some of you growers that are a little more advanced, in Jorge Cervantes' book, Marijuana Horticulture Medical Growers Bible, he gives a few tips on how to increase your chances for females. Alright, so in that book he says, once the seedling has 3 true sets of leaves, not counting the cotyledons, the environment starts to influence the sex of the plant. Okay, higher levels of nitrogen can help make more females, along with lower levels of potassium for the first 2 weeks. He also says that cooler temps and higher humidity help increase females, along with more blue light. If this makes sense to you, you should try it. You're ready to try it. If you have no idea what this means, keep it simple. Find a nice and rich soil and learn how the plant grows. Once you're ready, try some of these techniques. But even before then, like I've said before, get a book. Get this book. You should also get Greg Green's book, The Cannabis Grower's Bible. One of my favorite. Okay, so now once that seedling starts to, show a bunch of growth real fast, it gets taller, puts on more leaves, bigger leaves. It's no longer a seedling. That plant is now in the vegetative state. And that's a whole other thing. Your plant's going to need different amount of attention from you. It's going to need a different amount of nutrient from you. So, and I'll go over some of that. So yeah, get ready, because that's when it really gets exciting. Brothers and sisters, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to call that a show. Thank you for taking the time and hanging out with me. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, email me at inmygrow@gmail.com. Find me on Instagram @inmygrow. If you want to support the show, go to the website inmygrow.com. Click on the link at the top right that says support the show. You can support the show by signing up with a Patreon account. $1 a month, $2 a month, whatever you can afford. Or you can support the show by using the Amazon link. If you can't support the show financially, don't worry about it. Do me a favor. Tell 3 people about the show. Now, if you want to advertise on the show, or if you want to sponsor the show, once again, email me or find me on Instagram. Okay, folks, I'm going to get out of here. And remember to grow, learn, teach.
We were the last country band in the last ball playing the last crazy songs for tips in a jar.
I do believe that I done found the life for me. So baby, give me back my medicine, and when we dance, I'll let you lead.
She was the best thief in the county for those who could keep track. If you had 10 fingers when you shook it, you'd only get 9 back. I do believe that there's a lock for every key. I worked out all the combinations, and baby, you're the one for me. I may not be young, but I'll never be old.
Got more piss and vinegar than any heart could hold. I do believe only about half of what I've seen. No one could ever come here easy, but when we dance, I'll let you lead.
Come on, baby, dance with me. Ooh, now come on, baby, dance with me. Ooh, now come on, baby, set me free. Come on, baby, dance. Come on, baby, dance. Come on, baby, dance.
'Cause you're the key.